You started doing the right things, and somehow everything got harder. You expected rewards, you got resistance. You expected flow, you got friction. You expected the universe to celebrate your growth. Instead, it seemed to challenge it at every turn. And now you are wondering if you made a mistake, if the right path is really the right path, if maybe you should go back to the old ways where at least things were predictable. I need you to understand something today, something that might completely change how you see your current struggles. You are not being punished, you are not on the wrong path. And this difficulty you are experiencing is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that something is working exactly as it should. Let me explain the spiritual mechanics behind what is happening to you. Because once you understand why the right path feels harder, you will stop questioning your direction and start trusting it. Right now, I understand in the comments if you have been confused about why growth brought more difficulty. Let this be the moment that confusion clears. Here is what nobody explains about transformation. When you were living unconsciously, following patterns without questioning them, doing what was easy instead of what was right, you existed in a kind of equilibrium. It was not peace, it was stagnation, but it felt stable. The moment you chose to grow, you disrupted that equilibrium. You introduced change into a system that had been static, and systems resist change, always. Think about what happens when you clean a room that has been neglected for years. Before you start, the dust sits quietly. Everything looks manageable, but the moment you begin cleaning, dust rises everywhere. The air becomes thick. The mess seems worse than before. Someone walking in at that moment might think you are destroying the room, but you know the truth. The rising dust is not new dirt. It is old dirt finally being disturbed so it can be removed. Your life is that room right now. The difficulties rising up are not new problems created by your good choices. They are old patterns, old karma, old energy finally being disturbed because you dared to clean. This is not punishment. This is purification. And purification always looks like chaos before it looks like clarity. If this is starting to make sense of your recent experience, press the like button. Let it be your acknowledgement that you are beginning to see what is really happening. Now let me take you deeper into this understanding. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 48, I shared something with Arjuna that most people misunderstand. I said every action is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. One should not abandon their natural duty even if it has flaws. Let me explain what this means for your life. Every action, even the right action, comes with some difficulty attached. This is the nature of doing anything in the material world. Fire gives warmth and light, but it also produces smoke. You cannot have the fire without the smoke. Similarly, you cannot walk the right path without encountering the resistance that comes with it. This is not a flaw in the universe. This is the design. When you understand this, you stop expecting the right path to be the easy path. You stop interpreting difficulty as a sign you're going wrong. You recognize that smoke is simply what happens when fire burns. The question was never will there be challenges on this path. There will always be challenges. The question is, are these the right challenges? Are these the difficulties that lead somewhere meaningful, or the difficulties that come from avoiding your truth? The struggles you face while growing are fundamentally different from the struggles you face while stagnating. Both are hard, but one leads to expansion. The other leads to slow suffocation. You are experiencing the first kind, and that is exactly where you need to be. Let me give you another layer of understanding. There is a reason why the right path intensifies before it eases. And this reason is deeply practical. When you commit to growth, you begin operating at a higher frequency. Your standards rise, your awareness sharpens, your tolerance for what used to be acceptable decreases. Things that never bothered you before suddenly become intolerable. Relationships that felt fine now feel draining. Habits that seemed harmless now feel like chains. This is not you becoming difficult or demanding. This is you becoming aligned. And alignment reveals misalignment. Imagine you have been walking slightly off balance your whole life, leaning 2 degrees to the left. You never noticed because you adapted. Your muscles compensated. It became your normal. Now you start correcting your posture. Standing truly straight, suddenly everything feels uncomfortable. Your muscles ache from being used differently. Your body protests the change, even though the change is toward proper alignment. This discomfort is not a sign that standing straight is wrong. It is the cost of correcting a lifetime of subtle imbalance. Your life is realigning, and realignment requires passing through discomfort. In chapter 2, verse 38 of the Bhagavad Gita, I gave Arjuna specific guidance about how to move through difficulty without being destroyed by it. I said, treat pleasure and pain as the same. Treat gain and loss as the same. Treat victory and defeat as the same. Then engage in your battle. This way, you will not accumulate suffering. This is crucial to understand. I did not tell Arjuna that choosing the right path would remove pain. I told him how to move through pain without being broken by it. The instruction was not avoid difficulty. The instruction was change your relationship with difficulty. When you treat pleasure and pain as the same, you are not becoming numb. You are becoming stable. You are building an inner foundation that does not crumble when external conditions shift. This is what the right path actually develops in you. Not an easy life, a strong self, not fewer problems, but a capacity to face any problem without losing your center. The path is harder because it is forging something in you, and forging requires heat, pressure, and repeated striking. That is not cruelty. That is craftsmanship. If this understanding has brought you relief, you may offer support through the Super Thanks feature below. Your contribution helps keep this work alive. Now let me show you something you can apply immediately. The next time difficulty arises and you feel yourself questioning your path, ask this question. Is this the difficulty of growth or the difficulty of avoidance? Growth difficulty has a specific quality. It is uncomfortable, but it leads somewhere. You can sense expansion on the other side even if you cannot see it clearly. Something in you knows this is necessary. Avoidance difficulty has a different quality. It is also uncomfortable, but it leads nowhere. It cycles, it repeats, it creates the same suffering again and again without resolution. Learn to distinguish between these two. When you are on the right path, the difficulty you face is purposeful. It is shaping you. It is removing what does not belong. It is strengthening what needs to be strong. When you are on the wrong path, the difficulty you face is pointless. It drains you without developing you. It takes without giving anything back. Your current struggles have purpose. I know this because you are here, seeking understanding instead of just escaping. That seeking itself is evidence that something real is happening inside you. Let me share how this typically unfolds. There is usually a period after committing to growth where everything intensifies. Old patterns fight to survive. Old relationships are tested. Old beliefs are challenged. This is the fire at its hottest. But if you continue walking, something shifts. The intensity does not last forever. The dust settles. The smoke clears. And what remains is something far more solid than what existed before. Most people quit during the intense phase. They interpret the rising difficulty as a sign they chose wrong. They return to stagnation because at least it is familiar. But you do not have to be most people. You can be the one who understands what is happening, who sees the smoke and knows fire is working, who feels the muscle ache and knows alignment is developing, who faces the rising dust and keeps cleaning anyway. That is the soul who reaches the other side, not the one with the easiest path, the one who understood their path deeply enough to keep walking. I want to tell you something personal before we close. I see the courage it takes to keep going when everything seems to resist you. I see the doubt you have been carrying, the quiet fear that maybe you made a wrong turn somewhere. You did not. The resistance you feel is proof of your direction, not a contradiction of it. Dead things do not face resistance. Only living, moving, growing things encounter friction. Your struggle is evidence of your aliveness. Your difficulty is evidence of your movement. Your questions are evidence of your depth. Keep going, not because it will become easy, but because you are becoming something that no longer needs easy. Send this to someone who has been questioning their path because of recent difficulties. Someone who needs to know that harder does not mean wrong. Let them find the understanding you found here today. Subscribe to this channel if you want to continue understanding why growth works the way it does. There is much more clarity waiting for you. You are exactly where you need to be, even when it does not feel that way, especially when it does not feel that way.